The most heartbreaking sales calls to have are with folks who are just getting started, who cannot
hmm
afford any kind of marketing services. And it's
hmm
getting more and more competitive. I heard somewhere that there's going to be like 50% more licensed therapists in the States within the next 5 years because of all the folks connecting the dots myself, but who during COVID were like, oh, this seems like a great profession. Insert reason here. And
hmm
it is. And there's more need for relatively free marketing help than ever.
This episode is sponsored by Therapy Notes, therapynotes.com. Be sure and check them out and be sure and use the promo code Gordon, Gordon, and you can try them out for 2 months for free. For the past 20 plus years, I've been working in the mental health field as a licensed therapist, private practice owner, coach, and consultant. And I've learned a lot the hard way, and I don't think you need to do the same. Hi there, I'm Gordon Brewer, and welcome to the Practice of Therapy podcast, part of the Psychcraft network of podcasts. Whether you're just starting out, expanding your practice, or looking for fresh inspiration, this podcast is here to support you in your journey. Each week, we explore the real-world challenges and opportunities that come with building and growing your private practice. From marketing and money management to ethics, client care, and self-care, we cover it all. You'll hear from leading experts, seasoned clinicians, and innovative voices in the mental health and allied health fields, all sharing their insights and strategies to help you thrive in your practice. So let's jump in and get to today's episode of the Practice of Therapy podcast. And welcome to the podcast. This is episode number 413 of the Practice of Therapy podcast. And if you're listening to this in the month of December, happy holidays. This is going to be the last episode for 2025 and looking forward to jumping into a new year and all that brings. Usually I take a break between the Christmas holiday and New Year's. And so we're going to do that with the podcast here. So we'll have another episode coming out on January the 5th. But looking forward to you hearing from my guest in this particular episode, Greg Goodman. And Greg is a marketing person, and we have a great conversation about how AI is affecting the way that we market our practice, and also talk a little bit about the ethics behind all of that. So I'm really looking forward to you hearing from Greg. He was such a delight to talk to, and I think you're going to get a lot of insight from this particular episode. And I think it's an appropriate episode towards the end of the year, especially with AI just really taking off, which we knew it would. You know, if you listen to any of the buzz around AI or things that are going on with AI, there's not many days go by during the week in which I don't use it in some form or fashion. And it has really become a great tool for me to learn new things and also learn how to do new things as much as anything. But anyway, we're going to dive into that topic here in just a minute. But one of the things with the new year getting ready to start, one of the things that I'm really going to be focusing on in 2026 is working with people on an individual level and doing consulting and coaching with them. You know, I've been in private practice for quite a while now. Almost, it's hard to believe it's coming up on 25 years that I've been in private practice or been in the mental health field. But one of the things is that I've learned, as people hear from me all the time, I've learned a lot the hard way. And I really love sharing my knowledge and being able to work with people and share with them my experiences and help them kind of navigate all the different intricacies of running a private practice. And I know there's a lot of folks out there that just like being able to work with someone one-on-one. It's kind of like not the same as therapy, but it's kind of like what we do every day as far as providing therapy with people. But this is a coaching relationship and just really looking at kind of our headspace around running a private practice, looking at also a lot of the practical parts of running a private practice, and really coming up with an individual plan for you in your practice and understanding the ins and outs. So I'd love for you to get in touch with me about that. And if you go, when you go to our website, practiceoftherapy.com, you'll see a button there at the top that says coaching and consulting, and you can find out more about how to work with me and what all is involved in that. So I invite you to go over and check that out. And also, before we get to my conversation with Greg, I'd love for you to hear some more about TherapyNotes. They are the leading electronic health record system for mental health providers in my mind. But anyway, I'd love for you to hear more about them and also get to hear from one of the members of the SiteCraft Network.
Hey there. Are you searching for answers and clarity on your mental health journey? Well, I've got the podcast just for you. Welcome to Finding Your Way Through Therapy, a podcast that's like having a heartfelt conversation with a trusted friend and who understands what you're going through. I'm your host, Steve Bisa, a therapist and proud member of the SiteCraft Network. Finding Your Way Through Therapy is a safe space where we openly explore the emotional complexities of mental health. From busting common myths to sharing actionable advice, we'll navigate this journey together through solo episodes as well as special guests. Discover your inner strength, resilience, and hope as we explore topics like self-care, building healthy relationships, cognitive behavioral therapy, and overcoming challenges. You'll come away with a renewed sense of self and the tools to create a life filled with fulfillment and well-being. So join me on Finding Your Way Through Therapy as we become your companion on this deeply personal journey. I am part of the SiteCraft Network and truly enjoy all the episodes. And back to your regular scheduled programming.
Hi, this is Rachel, Gordon's podcast assistant, and I want to share the platform Gordon trusts for his own practice, TherapyNotes. TherapyNotes is the highest rated EHR, practice management, and billing software for mental health professionals. It's an all-in-one system for scheduling, notes, billing, and secure client communication. And if you ever need help, their 24/7 customer service is always just a call or email away. Their latest update, Therapy Fuel, uses AI to streamline documentation, generating progress notes, creating contact notes from client messages, and even summarizing client history forms, saving therapists hours every week. Are you ready to give it a try? Head to TherapyNotes.com, click Start My Free Trial, and use the code GORDON to get your first 2 months free. See why TherapyNotes is the most trusted EHR and the one Gordon chooses for his practice. Please enjoy the rest of the show.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to the podcast. And I'm really excited for you to get to know Greg Goodman, and I've really enjoyed just chatting just a little bit before we got started. But Greg, as I'm glad you're here, and as I start with everyone, tell folks a little more about yourself and how you've landed where you've landed.
Sure, the age-old question, the elevator pitch. But yeah, as you said, my name's Greg Goodman, and I have been working in the mental health industry in marketing and web design for about 20 years. I never intended to be in this industry. I'm not a therapist. My father was a therapist, and so I definitely had an introduction to the world from a young age. And without going into my entire life history, it was not the easiest of childhoods. And I really it really always, I don't even know that I had the words to articulate this as a 7-year-old kid, but I always felt safe and heard and seen and not judged when I would lay my head on his lap and share some, the day's traumas and try to process them in the best way that I could as a young child. So just sort of that kindness. So, and I didn't even know what a therapist was. I just knew my dad helped people. And then, of course, as life went on, as the universe or God or fate or whatever you want to call it, put me into this field. I was like, this feels right to be able to do this work, to support the work my dad was doing and so many other people. But yeah, I had a marketing degree. I knew I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to move to Hollywood and become the CEO of a major motion picture company because I liked movies and I liked business. And I didn't know what that meant. I
Right.
was in high school.
Yeah.
But I also loved websites. And about 30 years ago in a high school class, I got into the world of web design. And I haven't looked back since as an artist. It's like this incredible digital canvas to create magic, to create literally anything you're really before decades before AI, it was already a place for like infinite potential and tech. I always liked tech. And then I was doing that, and then people were like, "Oh, Greg, can you make a website? Can you do this?" And then a family friend had a group practice in New York City 20 years ago. She's like, "Can you run Google ads for us?" And it was a lot easier then. It was like choose a couple keywords, do anything. You already are ahead of 99.9% of the other therapists out there. Like nobody was doing it. And just more therapists found me and, the snowball effect. And before I knew it, I was like, okay, I guess my career is mental health marketing and web design. And
Yeah.
fast forward to today, I'm no longer a freelancer. Goodman Creatives, we've grown, we've expanded. We're an international team of 10 wonderful, creative human beings around the world who each have their own part of the shared vision of our vision is to improve the mental health of 1 million people around the world by the work that we do. Completely non-quantifiable, because how can I count? But I really believe like the butterfly effect, the proverbial pond the pond, the pebble in the pond that with the
Yeah.
ripple effects, like when we
Sure.
help helpers, the effects magnify infinitely. And I don't need to measure it, but that's kind of like our guiding principle for everything that we do. To wrap it up, full service digital marketing agency, we provide all of the scope of digital marketing services in one place for the folks who want done for you. And what I'm really excited about and what we're going to chat about today is how in this world you don't even need folks like us half the time anymore because AI can do so much of it for you.
Right, right. Yeah. It's amazing how marketing has changed over the years. And people that listen to the podcast always hear from me, really, the way I like to think about marketing your practice is really there are more than enough people out there that need your help. And so marketing is just a way to help them find you. And that it's not about sales necessarily. It's just making yourself discoverable and standing out to people and really giving your personality to things. But yeah, so to jump in, I know for me, AI has been a huge game changer, particularly with copywriting and just really coming up with ideas about things and that sort of thing. And I know one of the things that a lot of people are concerned about, as you mentioned, Greg, is just the whole ethics around using AI and just thinking about that. So, yeah. So what are your initial thoughts with AI? And hopefully it's not beating you out of a job with all of this.
It's funny that those are the words you use because what you said before, I totally resonate with that. And I agree there's always been in the 2 decades I've been in this industry, there's sort of a stigma with so many therapists about marketing, putting yourself out there, selling yourself, being inauthentic, being pushy, all these things that I've heard. And the reframe that I always offer it's like sales as a service, because it is sales at the end of the day. We're selling your services, but a therapist isn't an iPod. It's not Nike. It's not Macy's. It's not a major conglomeration, right? It's selling transformation and a better life. And to shift that narrative to soulful sales, to heart-led sales, to sales as a service, I think is so important. And with that mindset, to me, like I don't see it as like, oh, the mental health marketing industry will be out of a job. There's always going to be people who don't want to do it. But again, what I love about it is, the most heartbreaking sales calls to have are with folks who are just getting started, who cannot afford any kind of marketing services. And it's getting more and more competitive. I heard somewhere that there's going to be like 50% more licensed therapists in the States within the next 5 years because of all the folks connecting the dots myself, but who during COVID were like, oh, this seems like a great profession. I'm, insert reason here. And it is. And there's more need for relatively free marketing help than ever. But to directly address the question of the ethics and the concerns, there are ethical concerns. Like there's no way around it. Like there are some questionable things that are being done, and I'm not even going to touch the actual using AI for mental health. Like that's not what this conversation is about. Not as a substitute for therapy or AI mental health chatbots and CBT chatbots. That's a whole other podcast, right? But just in terms of simply like where the data is sourced from, like how AI learning models, they just steal. Like no sugarcoating it. Like they take copyrighted material, and the folks who run the tech companies, and I don't need to make villains out of them, but they say like that we can't help it. Like they source what's out there, and we can't put a buffer on copyrighted material or not. And there's lawsuits by Facebook. There's lawsuits. I get things against Facebook by New York Times. There's so many major and like authors are coming together to form these class action libel suits, and because people's work, my work, probably your work, is being used to train these LLMs, these large language models. And it's just they're getting for free what has taken you, Gordon, like on your website and your resources, like years of thousands of hours and your own money out of your life to create these resources. And then ChatGPT and Claude and Anthropic is like, whoop, we're gonna use them. Thanks, buddy. Enjoy that. So to me, that's a concern for sure.
Yeah, sure.
There's the carbon footprint. AI uses a ridiculous amount of energy, and every tech company is trying, we're offsetting it with solar and this. But I think, and it's great that you asked that first, because we can't talk about how amazing AI is without at least acknowledging the ramifications that it has on humanity, on individuals, and on the globe as a whole. So with all of that said, I think any use of AI needs to be looked at through that lens. Like this is where we are. And I did a presentation some months ago for a large group, and I presented all of this and even more. And at the end, I'm like, drop in the chat, is AI ethical? 1 yes, 2 no. And even with all this stuff and even a longer laundry list that I'm sharing here, it was overwhelmingly 1. It is ethical to use it. A few people had a caveat, like, that was what I got from a group of mental health professionals, was even in light of this, still yes.
Right. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Hear that? That's my alarm clock. How did I get here? Invested early, retired early. Now, my morning meeting is with the shore. Get where you're going with DIA, the only ETF that tracks the Dow. Getting there starts here with State Street Investment Management.
Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit statestreet.com/IM for a prospectus containing this and other information. Read it carefully. DIA is subject to risks similar to those of stocks. All ETFs are subject to risk, including possible loss of principal. Alps Distributors, Inc. distributor.
Yeah. So that begs the question, well, how do we make it ethical? And just given all those things, and I'm sure there's more than one answer to all of that. But yeah, as you've delved into this, what are the things that you are recommending or seeing that we can do to make the use of AI more ethical?
Well, I'll put the question back to you for a minute, Gordon. Like when we're talking about ethical, right? Like this word means so many things to so many people, right? So
right.
You, like what are, let's clarify the constraints of the conversation. Like what are we talking about?
Yeah. That's a really good question. And I think, I just think about my own use of AI so far. One of the things is it's a huge time saver, and that it can write stuff that would take me, if I were to write a blog, for example, on a particular topic, and I've already got it kind of formulated in my head, but I've actually got to write it out. I could put a prompt into AI and saying, I want to write a blog post about 5 different ways to deal with anxiety in your life. Give me some ideas about things that you want that I could write about. And so it would spit those out. And then it usually asks, do you want me to write the blog post for you? And then it writes it. And then you go back and look at it and you think, okay, yeah, this is kind of what I would say as well. And they've already typed it out for me. Right. So to me, that's an ethical use if you're vetting it and it matches up what you kind of your own voice or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, and that I think is an easier, I don't want to say easier, and that is
Mhm.
the more clear, like, because AI lies. Like AI is
Uh-huh.
known, it hallucinates, as they call it, just
Mhm.
makes stuff up. So like to me, ethics is like, first of all, where are you getting your information from? Like ask the LLM, like, where are you getting this from? Are you just stealing like in theory, it doesn't verbatim copy, plagiarize somebody else's work. But there
Uh-huh.
are like plagiarizer checkers out there that you can run your work through to make sure AI plagiarizer checkers, of course,
Yeah,
to make
right.
sure that it's not doing anything. AI likes to make up sources. So if AI is confidently saying 37% of Americans that suffer with anxiety, go on to have more severe insert thing here. Like, where'd you get that stat from? Show me the stat. It's gonna be like, oh, this is cited from GB et al. 2017. And then you look for that service and it doesn't exist. Or for that study
Hmm.
and it doesn't
Hmm.
exist. So I think ethical use is everything you said sounds perfectly in line with ethics, right? Like not just taking it at
Uh-huh.
face value and copying and pasting, but doing the due diligence to make sure that wherever it got its information, it is now coming out through you, Gordon. Right? Like you write
Hmm.
that blog post, you put it on your website, your potential clients or complete strangers who never become clients are reading it. It is now your ethical responsibility to accurately portray the thing that you are putting out to the world. So really just
Right.
checks and balances. And that's separate from the ethics of where does that stuff come from a like how the entire AI ecosystem is trained or anything else.
Yeah, yeah. And so what are some of the other things that come to mind for you and just thinking about the ethical use of AI? So,
There we go. I feel like I was on my
mhm.
harsh lighting. So those are really the big ones, right? Like I think as far as it's concerned, like to keep it at more of a macro level for the sake of this conversation, I think the biggest ethical concern as it directly relates to mental health marketing of AI is what I just mentioned, is just really because there's bias. Like we don't know what data sources it was trained on. When you do that, and I do it all the time, it's the most wonderful gift. Like I use it for my own business, I use it for Goodman Creative clients, like using AI just to do the heavy lifting. And I always say like AI is do never publish straight out of ChatGPT or whatever your chosen model is. Like
Mhm.
that is the first draft. It's going to save you 2 to 3 hours of writing, but that it's only taking like 60%. And I don't believe in 100%, but your responsibility is to get it to the 80%, right? Like
Uh-huh.
and it's a conversation and it's like checking and keeping the AI model in check at every step, like validate your words. And that
Mhm.
is really the ethical use is making sure that whatever it is, whatever good or not so good sources the AI got its data from, that it is in alignment with your beliefs, your values, and that you, if someone would come to you, like they're like, oh, I use it with AI, that's why it was wrong. Like, it doesn't matter. The damage is done. So like, can you,
Uh-huh.
the therapist, authentically put this piece of content out into the world and know that it is going to do good? To me, that's sort of, ethics, if and it's, and I want to, I'm not trained in all of the philosophers of the world, but to me, like if I'm talking about
Mhm.
ethics, it's like at the most pure to break it down into like concepts that Tyler can understand. It's like, is it good or is it bad?
Mhm.
Like, obviously,
Mhm.
it's infinitely more nuanced than that. But like, can you put this out and you'd be like, I feel good about putting this out?
Right, right.
Then to me, that
Yeah.
is ethically okay with a million caveats behind it.
Sure, sure. Yeah. That I think that's helpful, very helpful to think about it that way, and that we still need to, like you said, have our due diligence, fact check, all of those kinds of things with what you receive from those
Mhm.
platforms, regardless of which one you're using. So, yeah. So to switch gears a little bit, Greg, in your world of marketing, what are some of the best uses for AI in the marketing world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head really for one of the greatest uses is in all of my years of working with therapists, and any therapist, marketing person you go to, like, what's the number thing everyone says? Like, everyone wants to focus on search engine optimization. How do you do search engine optimization? One of the keys of SEO is creating content. And yes, creating content that has keyword that solves user queries, that is actually valuable, all of that. But regardless of what route you take for content, there's something simply about the act of writing that, in my experience, paralyzes a lot of therapists with all sorts of limiting beliefs behind it and stories. And, I can't write, I'm a terrible writer. I can only write a thesis. I can't write marketing copy, all these things I've heard, and acknowledging that that is the experience that's going on for that person. ChatGPT is an amazing workaround for that. So I think just strictly getting new content out there, assuming you take the time to youify it and not just leave it as generic ChatGPT exposition. So that I think is an amazing opportunity for therapists to just get the content that they need so that a search engine or an LLM can look at their website and say like, oh, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. They've got 37 articles on, just keep running with the anxiety because that's what you mentioned before. They not only do they say 5 ways to know if you have anxiety, it's what is anxiety? What are the origins of anxiety? How does anxiety show up in professionals? How does anxiety show up in artists? Right? All these different things that Google and LLMs can understand, like, all right, they understand more of the web of this thing. So when someone types in anxiety therapist in Tennessee, I should probably recommend Gordon. Like this makes a lot more sense than recommending Greg, who just mentions the word anxiety 3 times on his page. So I think that's huge, is copywriting. And with that said, within the sphere of ChatGPT, there's a lot, and I'll come back to it. And I'm also just using ChatGPT synonymously, like Xerox or Kleenex for everybody's chosen LLM, because it has kind of become synonymous. But whether you use Claude or Gemini or Anthropic or Surfer SEO or whatever it is, like the fundamentals are the same. So what I love about quote unquote ChatGPT is that it can do everything for you. But there's also amazing entrepreneurs out there. And I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm in Santa Cruz, about 75 miles south of San Francisco. So I'm in this like tech bubble. And all anybody talks about, anytime I'm at a birthday party for one of my kids' friends, it's like, what do you do? Oh, I'm in this AI business. I got this new AI startup. And there's so many cool people doing really interesting things, leveraging this technology. So even more advanced stuff, and I don't necessarily recommend doing this within ChatGPT directly, but like creating ad copy for Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever ads. And you can brainstorm all of that within the LLM, but there's other apps out there that you give them a few prompts, they're going to come up with the entire campaign. The app somehow syncs with the API infrastructure of the ad platform. And with a few clicks, not only do you have ideas for an ad, you have fully formed ads that are live on your chosen ad platform.
Right.
With creative, with your brand voice, with best practices and psychological factors that are going into play. And obviously you need to monitor it. Don't just let
right.
If everybody listening or watching this has one takeaway from this, it's do not let AI run unmonitored. Like AI is wonderful. I love AI. AI needs you to be the teacher, to be the gatekeeper for whatever is put out into the world.
Right.
So I think that's an incredible opportunity alone, because like you can spend $1,000 a month just for someone to manage Google Ads. And I'm not saying, I don't actually recommend just letting Google Ads run wild, even with AI, because it'll waste so much of your money and you won't get results. But the capability is there. Like we're not that far away from. I don't want to say me being out of business, because I do believe there's always going to be that need for the human oversight. But yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I think, another thing is just you're using AI as a learning tool. I know for me, the copywriting is definitely. That's one of the things that I've just enjoyed doing. I just recently created a whole curriculum using AI and putting in an extensive prompt. And I think that's another thing too, is you've got to, I think, put a lot of work in on the front end. It's not just type in a sentence and it does it. You've got to really explain to it, what you're looking for. And then, and many people refer to it, training it in your way of thinking.
Yep.
And so, but, if, for example, if I wanted to know the steps for creating a Google ad, as you mentioned, that would be a great use of AI, I think, is just coming up with ways to learn how to do new things.
Yeah.
Particularly in the tech areas. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great teacher. It's a really great teacher. But the challenge with that exact example that you have is because things are changing so quickly right now, so quickly in the world of marketing. Like how to set up a Google ad instruction manual is so different 6 months ago than it is now. And the LLM is potentially like sometimes I catch it. It's like, ChatGPT, how do I set up a Google ad? It's like, oh, do this, this, this. And then I'm like, okay, this isn't working. That thing isn't there. That button, that checkbox, that whatever is not there.
Right,
And then,
right.
Then like, where did you get that information from? You click on it and the article was published 2023, 2024, not even that long ago. But this is what I'm talking about, always checking the data.
Right. Yeah. It's just, use it. Check and verify.
Check and verify.
Yeah.
What you're to share, like what you're talking about prompts as a power tip, like prompt engineering it's like a whole job description now, although it's kind of going away because what's cool is you can actually ask ChatGPT to help you write better instructions to have ChatGPT do what you want. Like I literally spent 4 hours yesterday working with ChatGPT to create the ultimate ChatGPT prompts to tell ChatGPT how to write like me, how to write a newsletter like me, a blog post like me. And I've done this before, and every year or so I update it because ChatGPT's operations have changed. So that's called prompt engineering. And the best thing anyone watching or listening to this can do is ask ChatGPT in order to give you the best knowledge about me so you can accurately write in my voice, know all about my practice, write blog posts for me, help me come up with a marketing plan. Give me 15 questions that you want me to answer for you. Let it spit out those questions. Do not answer them in ChatGPT because you're going to want to reuse this. Take out the most magical device known as your phone or whatever it is. Open up a voice dictating app, open up a Zoom meeting and record the Zoom meeting. It doesn't matter how. What you want is a transcript, and answer those questions as if you were having a casual conversation with someone. Use as many words as possible. Don't skip on the words. Don't give 2-word answers. Like go into teacher mode, go into philosopher mode, go into therapist mode. Use jargon. It doesn't even matter. What you're doing is you're giving whatever AI model you use the data to know all about you, your modalities, your specialties, your background, your passions, why you love being a therapist, who your favorite types of clients are, who the clients are you don't want to see, what makes you different than other therapists, why you're worth what you charge. Like these are some of the questions that we use when we're training a model. Record all of that, get the transcript. Then before you ask ChatGPT anything, and you can do this with the free version, plug that in and be like, for the rest of this chat, I want you to pull your answers only from this document. If there's something that you want to say that's not in the document, you have to let me know what you want to say and where you got that information from. And that way it's like the fusion of these two worlds. And there's many more like complex ways that we do this behind the scenes, but that is a way that is accessible to anybody with a phone.
All right. Oh, that's a brilliant tip there, Greg. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be using that. I love that. I love that. That's good. Well, Greg, I've got to be mindful of your time and our time together. And I know we could spend all day talking about this, and maybe one day we'll get to, but tell folks more about where they can locate you and how they can tap into all your things.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, easiest way ever, internet, good old internet. Goodman, my last name, Goodman Creatives, the plural of creative.com, goodmancreatives.com. That's my homepage. It's got everything you need to know about there, about how we could collaborate. Big picture, what do we do? Our goal is to get you full and to keep you full all year round, regardless of recessions or politics or AI or, what's going on in the tech world. Like good old fashioned human interaction, getting you found on Google, getting you found on LLMs, getting you full, keeping you full, reducing stress and overwhelm, web design, SEO, Google Ads, copywriting done for you. We do it all for you. We're definitely a done for you service. Or if you're looking for a teaching program or a coaching program, we have little bits of that in there. But there's a lot of other amazing folks who've appeared on your podcast who specialize in the DIY model. And that is what we do. That's how we do it. But big picture is we are your partner. We want to be with you for years to come and support your growth. From solo practice to group practice, from small group practice to big group practice, entrepreneurial minded therapists. We'd love to chat with you. GoodmanCreatives.com. Lots of free resources. And if you're like, I want to use ChatGPT for copywriting, I put a lot of our best practices for mental health copywriting into a custom GPT. So if you wanted to access that, it's free to you, right? I'll trade you your email address and your first name to go to the newsletter to grab access to the guide. It's got a bunch of those questions I mentioned and some other ways you can use the AI to do it. It's under goodmancreatives.com/copywriting bot. So that's probably a little bit long, but I'm sure Gordon can put it in the notes for you.
Absolutely.
Copywriting bot, and you can download it that way. And we'll see if I can get you a shorter URL for it. It's I've never had to say it out loud before. It feels kind of long. Like it's goodmancreatives.com/GPT, but it's not there yet.
Yeah. Oh, good. And like you said, Greg, we'll have links here in the show notes and the show summary for people to access all that easily. So, well, Greg, I really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope to have you back at some point, and hope you, as we're recording this, we're right in the middle of the holidays or holiday season, and I hope you have a great holiday season.
Thanks, Gordon. I want to say one thing to you too. I want to genuinely express gratitude to you and for all the podcasts and all the ways. Like, I talk to so many people, and you're a household name, and people get so much value from your podcasts, and you've helped so many people with this that you've done. So I just want to acknowledge all the work and the hard work and effort you put in, and say thank you on behalf of the world for everything that you're doing.
Well, you're very kind. I appreciate that very much.
Appreciate you.
So take care, Greg.
All right. Have a good one.
Well, big thanks to Greg for joining me on the podcast, and be sure and check out his things at Greg Goodman Creatives. He has just got some brilliant ideas just about how to communicate better with AI to get what we need from it. And I hope that this got you thinking about some of the ethics too around our use of AI. Definitely, and I think most people know this, you don't want to just copy and paste from what AI gives you. You want to be able to go in and look at it and put your own spin on it, and also, fact check, if you're using AI, just making sure that you're getting accurate information from whatever AI platforms you use. I will mention here, the two that I'm using currently are ChatGPT, which most people know about. And then another one, and I believe Greg mentioned this in the interview, is one called Claude.ai. And it's really good for business purposes as much as anything. It's really kind of geared to creating projects and that sort of thing. Maybe at some point we can get some tutorials on how to use AI in different ways. But anyway, again, big thanks to Greg for joining me on this last episode of 2025. It's hard to believe that we're through the end of the year already. And I know if you're like me, you've got a lot of stuff you're thinking about to kind of close out the year for taxes and payroll and all those different things that occur this time of year. And I do hope that you have the happiest of holidays, those of you that are celebrating. I know it's always a special time of year for me, and just getting together with my daughter and family members. And so hope you have the best of holidays. And again, big thanks to TherapyNotes for being a sponsor of this podcast. As I mentioned, they are one of the leading electronic health record systems for mental health providers. They're who I use in my practice, and absolutely could not operate without them. They are the hub for everything we do on the clinical side, from scheduling to creating progress notes to doing assessments. All of those things are handled, and filing insurance claims. All of that's handled through TherapyNotes, and absolutely can stand behind that particular product. And if you'll go over to practiceoftherapy.com/therapynotes and use the promo code Gordon, just GORDON, you can try them out for 2 months for free. And I would encourage you to try them out. So take care, folks. Happy holidays. And we'll be back with you with a new episode of the Practice of Therapy podcast in 2026. Take care, folks. You have been listening to the Practice of Therapy podcast with Gordon Brewer, part of the PsychCraft network of podcasts. Please visit us at practiceoftherapy.com for more information, resources, and tools to help you in starting, building, and growing your private practice. And if you haven't done so already, please sign up to receive the free Private Practice Startup Guide at practiceoftherapy.com. And to find more great podcasts like this one, please visit the PsychCraft Network at psychcraftnetwork.com. The information in this podcast is intended to be accurate and authoritative concerning the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, or producers are rendering legal, accounting, or clinical advice. And if you need help in these areas, be sure to find the right professional to help you with these things.
Last year, you helped us break the record for the most attended combat sports event in Philadelphia history. And now, it's happening again. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is back. Saturday, February 7th. It's Knuckle Mania 6 taking over Xfinity Mobile Arena. And everyone's coming. Fighters, celebrities, influencers, the people who never miss the moment everyone talks about the next day. It's the world's most exciting combat sport, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Don't get shut out by another sellout. Get your tickets at bkfc.com.